John Dillinger's family is fighting to have his body exhumed from an Indianapolis cemetery, but his legacy in the Hoosier state stretches far beyond the Circle City. As Adam Pinsker reports, the infamous gangster's crimes actually changed the course of Indiana history.
Almost a century ago, during the height of the Great Depression, Indiana wasn't the best place to live, especially if you were in the banking or law enforcement business.
Because at that time, we were number 4 for bank robberies in the United States, so it was very bad in Indiana at that time.
Indianapolis native John Dillinger was responsible for a good number of those robberies. He and his gang seemed to always be a step ahead of law enforcement.
And all of the local police departments within Indiana, so all the county sheriffs and city PD, they didn't have the authority to cross their lines within their city or their county.
That began to change when the Indiana State Police formed in 1933. They were given the authority to chase criminals statewide. A year later, Dillinger's bank robbing exploits turned deadly after he allegedly shot and killed an East Chicago, Indiana police officer. Dillinger and his crew fled the state. He didn't keep a low profile either, taunting Indiana State Police Chief Matt Leach along the way.
There are stories, we don't have any proof of it, but there are stories that Dillinger would send postcards from where he was or call Matt Leach and tell him where he was because he knew that by the time Leach was able to get someone over there, he would be gone.
But Leach would have the last laugh after police arrested Dillinger in Arizona a couple weeks after the officer's murder. Leach personally flew out there to escort him back to Indiana.
And he was brought from the Chicago Municipal Airport to the Lake County Jail with an entourage of about 13 cars.
Jim Emerson with the Old Sheriff's House and Jail Foundation says since the officer's murder took place in Lake County, Dillinger was to be held for trial at the Lake County Jail, which still stands today along Main Street. At the time, it was billed as nearly escape-proof.
It probably would still be considered that if the employees of the jail had followed the rules.
Emerson says Leach wanted Dillinger held at the state prison in Michigan City instead.
I think he was concerned at how small Lake County was at the time, and there were just concerns that they would not be able to hold Dillinger because they knew that there was probably going to be an attempt at escaping the jail.
Leach's fears would soon be realized only a couple months after Dillinger arrived. Although he couldn't escape from his third-floor cell alone, it could only be unlocked from outside the cell block. Emerson says help came in the form of this prison employee, Sam Cahoon, who accidentally left the cell block door open while he retrieved some cleaning supplies.
So we opened the door, the trustees went in, and Dillinger interceded to jump between the two trustees and grab Sam Cahoon, put him up against the control box, and said, "I'm getting out of here today and you're going to help me."
Using a fake gun apparently carved out of wood, he forced Cahoon to bring other officials up to the cell block where he locked them up. After locking up most of the guards and jail staff, Dillinger escaped from the cell block, came down to the prison kitchen, disarmed the staff that were in the kitchen, and made his way to freedom through the back door. Dillinger then took 2 hostages at a municipal garage and fled town in the sheriff's car.
Went into Illinois. He dumped the 2 hostages off.
Dillinger committed a handful of robberies after escaping from Lake County, but his criminal career came to an abrupt end after FBI agents shot and killed him outside a Chicago amphitheater. Lake County's first female sheriff, whose watch Dillinger escaped under, received the brunt of criticism in the aftermath. But the Dillinger saga helped convince Indiana lawmakers that the state police was an important and necessary agency.
And not too long after Dillinger, the General Assembly actually approved the purchase of radio communications for the state police. So there were definitely benefits that came out of this crime spree that happened.
Emerson says Indiana's court systems, not the FBI, would have had the final say in Dillinger's fate if he hadn't escaped.
He would have been tried for the murder, and if he was found guilty, he would have gone to the electric chair in Michigan City.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Adam Pinsker.